I have a long guest list here. It's almost like a guest list entering to a club. Very nice. We have, okay, did anyone raise hand, or do we have a KK Lim, our new District 51 Public Relation Manager? KK Lim? KK Lim, are you in the house? Yes, no? No.
No,
No,
I don't
okay.
see him.
We have Suwan's guests, Joseph and Joe, the two J's. Who wants to go?
Joseph can't make it, only Joe.
Hi, Joe. Oh, Joe's is a picture there. I almost thought that was a real him. Okay, maybe he's not there at the moment. Anyone else? Natalie from Magical Bali TMC. Wow.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Joe. Yes.
Yes,
Back
my
to
name is Joe.
So did Suwan drag you here tonight to join
Yeah,
us?
sure. Yes.
Yes. Nice. I hope you enjoy yourself tonight, yeah?
Sure. Thank you.
Nice. We have Natalie from Magical Bali TMC. Yes. Or we also have, okay, if Natalie is not there, I see Evan Lee is thinking like, will I be called next?
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I'm Evan. Thanks Roya for inviting me to Toastmaster. So nice to meet all of you.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Roy, for bringing your friends as well. Jackie Yap from Instagram.
I did not know it from Instagram. but anyway, that's a good one. Hi everyone, my name is Jackie. I happened to call up the phone number on Facebook, and that's how I know you guys. And I would like to see more happening here in Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for braving yourself to call that number, and that yes, we are real. Do we have a Zach Fong from Macau Toastmasters? Yes. Hello.
I'm a Malaysian who works in Macau. That's why I'm active member in Macau Toastmasters. So this is the stage of pandemic. I'm a chef. I'm a professional chef who working in Macau for 6 years. And because of the pandemic, we are temporarily suspended our job, and that's why currently I'm back in Malaysia. So looking forward to meet you guys. And if anyone is interested, you can welcome to join my club as well. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Please enjoy the rest of the meeting. Thanks.
Thank you, Zach. Such a good introduction. So we know now we have another chef in the house. Later we'll let you find out who is the other chef in Elite Toastmasters Club. Do we have any other guests? We have Hong Wei Kang, called us from Facebook, or any other guests that I may have missed out or not updated in this recent list. Feel free to.
Me.
Hi, Muhammad. Hi.
Okay, hello, everyone. I'm Wan Mama Hafiz. You can call me Hafiz. I'm from Kajang. Okay, thank you to Swan for invite me to join this meeting. I got the information about this Elite Toastmaster from IT. Okay, nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Wan. Thank you for joining us. Do we have one more? Yes?
Yes, please.
Yes. Ariel.
Yeah, thank you once again. I'm happy to be here. I need to thank Chen Chun for inviting me again. So last week, apparently, we had Chen Chun as our speakers. We had an educational session, and Chen Chun delivered a mind-blowing speech that he delivered the last time I listened him speaking here. So it basically the same speech actually, but it was very powerful and so enjoyable to be here. Thank you so much, Madam President.
Thank you, Arya, for joining us once again. Very happy to see familiar faces, even though guests, yes, always happy to see familiar faces. Do we have any more guests that we have not give them a warm welcome yet? All done. Okay, so with tonight's team meeting, I know I don't have much time left and I wouldn't want to stand in the way of such an interesting meeting. This is one of the very interesting quote that I would like to share with you guys to tie up to tonight's meeting. It basically means this: nothing is impossible, and the word itself already says I'm possible. And this is from Audrey Hepburn. Can you guys see? Yeah, tak boleh tengok. Cannot. Never mind, later I'll show it. So without further wasting time, I will now pass it on to our beautiful Vera to do her toast for tonight. Over to you, Vera. Yay.
Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmaster and guests. My name is Vera. It's my honor to give a toast this evening. It's been 68 days since Malaysia first announced MCO. This MCO has changed our daily routines. For example, our working environment. We have started learning to work from home and getting better in coping with the challenges on having difficulties to focus on work or chores at home, especially those who have young children and old folks. Furthermore, consumer shopping behaviors have evolved. People tend to focus more on making purchases online. So, in order to sustain businesses, many offline retailers are slowly shifting their sellings to online mode. Of course, not to mention, e-commerce is the current trend. I want to share a little story with you guys. Last Friday, my business partner Noel and I had a very special lunch experience that was organized by our staff. They ordered in-flight meal from Santan, a flagship cafe which is owned by AirAsia. And all of them dressed in red to fit the theme of AirAsia stewardess. Before lunch started, we were served with a flatbed food menu. You know when you have when you were in the plane, when you were on the plane, they will serve you a flatbed food menu. So that menu was created by all my staff. They created themselves. Once we made our selection, one of our staff, Vanessa, she pushed a chair out with all the meal boxes on it. It's just like a food trolley on a plane. It was very creative. And me and my partner were so amazed by their efforts and their innovative ideas that put into surprising us. I asked them, how long have you girls prepared this? And what's the reason behind it? My PA Kashin said, we have prepared this for almost 1 week. As we know, you miss flying. Therefore, we want to bring back the flying memory to you. It was very touching and heartwarming. As we know, many people thought that it's very impossible. Working from home is very impossible in the past. We would not imagine this will happen to us. And not to mention, a lot of offline retailers thought that it's impossible for them to change their business model from offline to online. Personally, I used to think that it's impossible to have in-flight meal without flying on a plane. However, this MCO has proven that anything we think is impossible in the past has become possible. The main secret of making anything possible is start believing. If you believe it, you will achieve it. Last but not least, fellow Toastmaster and guests, let us rise up our glass and toast for a brighter future with dreams and hope and believing. Cheers.
Yes.
Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Vera, for that very uplifting speech. Can we give another round of applause? So Toastmasters Vera's message shows that even in times of immense challenge, we can still find possibility. So let us all embrace the unknown tonight and never stop believing. So first off, let me welcome all my fellow Elite Toastmasters member, and also extend my warm welcome to all our international guests tonight. Woohoo!
Yay!
So if you guys can hear me, just give me a loud clap. Okay, it's my great honor to be your Toastmasters of the evening tonight. Basically, as a TME, my role is to be an MC to facilitate the flow of the meeting tonight. My name is Washing, which rhymes with washing, which is something that we ought to do very often nowadays. So it's a great honor to see that there's so many guests here tonight. So since we have a lot of guests, maybe I'll just go through a little bit about what Toastmasters is all about for the curiosity of the guests. So Toastmasters was set up by a gentleman called Ralph C. Smedley. And his intention was that he wanted young men to learn how to speak, to conduct meetings, as well as to plan programs. And the first Toastmasters meeting was held in first official Toastmasters meeting was held in Santa Ana, California. And ever since then, the Toastmasters platform has just grown all across the globe. And today, guess how many clubs we have? I have this from the Toastmasters website. To this very day, we have over 16,800 plus Toastmasters Club all across 143 countries and 358,000 members. So Ralph C. Smedley showed us, the team tonight, that anything is possible. One man's dream of equipping young men with this communication skills and leadership skill has burgeoned and expanded into something that we can all enjoy tonight. Even though we are just doing it through online, we can still feel the power of this one man's dream, which has transformed our lives and of course, many others. Okay, so now that the guest has a brief view of what Toastmasters history is all about, I'll just briefly explain how our meeting will be run tonight. So basically for most Toastmasters meeting, it will be divided into 3 components. The first component will be the table topic session, where we will need to be thinking on our feet. The second part of the meeting is the prepared speech session. So the prepared speech session is where speakers who will be following their pathways and who has prepared their speech beforehand, and they will be sharing with us some inspiring and uplifting message. And of course, a good speech also needs good evaluation. This is where the third components come in, which is the evaluation session, where fellow members and experienced members will join together to give constructive feedback to the speakers so that they can improve and grow even further as a communicator. Now, of course, I cannot do this alone. It's not possible for me to do it alone. And tonight I have my very own tag team to help me out. First one is our timer, which is our Elite Toastmasters Club DJ, Vance. Vance, can you show us some movement? Yeah. Woo. So when should be our timer for tonight? Should be keeping track of the timing of each speakers and each role players. And next up, I have my very own R Counter, who is the current Vice President of Education and our incoming President. Woo! So Hasnul will be counting the double catches and the R's and yeah, like this one, so that each speaker can improve on their speech. Sorry, I always get nervous when it comes to R counters. And last but not least, I have the grammarian for tonight, which is Toastmaster Yi. Woo! Okay.
Washing, sorry,
Yes.
would you introduce the word of the day?
Oh, okay, no problem.
Yep.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have your phone with you, or if you're using Zoom through the laptop, you can look at the agenda, which we have sent earlier. And at the bottom left corner, you can see the word of the evening, believable. So this will be our word of the evening. So every speaker and every guest is encouraged to use as frequently as possible the word of the day. And so what is the meaning? The meaning of believable is able to be believed, credible. An example of a use in the sentence is, she felt that Dawn's story was not quite believable. So anything is possible, and I really challenge all of you to use the word of the day as frequently as possible in all your speeches. Okay, so with all the introduction done, now that all the guests have a little bit of idea what Toastmasters is like, let us now move on to our very first session for tonight. So for our very first session is going to be a very exciting session. If you have ever encountered your bosses asking you a lot of questions where you have to think on your feet, well, this is the time where you will be trained. So without any further ado, let me now welcome the table topic master for tonight, Toastmaster Roy Yap. Let's give him another big round of applause. Woo!
Thank you, Washing. Thank you, everyone.
Over to you, Roy.
Yeah, thanks, Washing. Yeah, how everyone can hear my voice. Yeah. So today the topic on the meeting team itself is anything is possible. So I have just set two categories for the questions or the topics for the speakers to choose. So one of the part one is actually a very serious kind of topic, which is, I would say, is more towards the practical. Okay, and the other part itself is actually I would say, is a dream. It's a dream. So later, if anyone would like to volunteer, please let me know that you want to go for a serious talk today, or you want to be a motivator today, or you want to share about the story of dreams. And just let me know whether you want to choose practical. I have 4 questions, and dreams, and actually have 4 questions. So maybe I would like to start. Is there the first volunteer for today? Oh, before that, each such topics, you actually have up to 2 minutes. So that's the time they're given. Okay, so who will be the first? Yeah, I saw Ming Yan. Yep. Ming Yan?
Hello, Roy. Yeah.
Yeah, hi, Ming Yan.
Okay, hello.
Yes, so which one? Practical, or you want to be a dreams?
Oh, dream
topic. Dreams. Okay, so there's 4 topics, 1 to 4. Which would I choose?
3.
3. Okay. So what will you be doing if you have a net worth of 1 billion today? So the topic is, what will you be doing if you have a net worth of 1 billion ringgit today? Okay, over to you, Ming Yan.
Thanks, Roy. What will I be doing if I have a follower of 1 billion number, right, Roy?
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to be a Superman. With the extraordinary and supernatural power given to me, I can fly to everywhere I want, everywhere I desire. So that can save costs, because nowadays not everyone is able to fly. Actually, we are not able to fly at all. I can fly to Italy in just maybe 5 seconds. Then I can grab foods everywhere. Unlike nowadays that we can't really dine in, although we are allowed to because there is so much of inconvenience. Then I can also fly back to my house immediately to see my parents. Most importantly, I can also fly to the brew house to have some drinks with my friends. So pass over to you, Roy.
Okay, thanks, Ming Yan. Yeah. So for me, if let's say I have 1 billion, I also would like to actually have a technology to become a Superman, because most important, the man of steel is that I'm actually able to actually fight with all the virus, and I'm not actually afraid to actually get caught with COVID, and I can do anything that I want. Okay, so thanks, Ming Yan. And do we have any second volunteer? Oh, yeah, Vanessa. Yeah, Vanessa. Hi. Yep. So yes, Vanessa, you want to talk about a serious topic, or you want to talk about funnies or funs?
Fun.
Fun. Okay. So
Fun.
Okay. So you left about 1, 2, and 4.
1, 2, and 4. 1.
Okay, 1. If the Prime Minister would let you to make a law, what will it be for today? Okay. So I just repeat the question again. Topic again. If the Prime Minister would let you to make a law today, what will it be? Over to you, Vanessa.
Thank you, Roy, for the very interesting questions. If the Prime Minister would to give me the powers to have a law to be applied to every Malaysian citizens, let me think. All right. Every time I think about Prime Minister, the first word that I can think of, or the first sentence that I can think of, is duduk diam-diam di rumah. Kalau saudara-saudari nak jalan sini, pergi sana, pergi sini. But remember to stay home. So this is like the golden words that I can remember from Prime Minister. So it is a very encouraging and words for all the Malaysian citizens to stay alert and remember the precautions to be taken during this trying time during MCO and now our MCOs. So if I am able to make a law for every Malaysian citizens, I would say that I would make a law to make every Malaysian citizens to have a minimum 30 minutes workout every single day, so that every Malaysian citizens are forced or are being compelled to work out to release all the stress by staying at home. This is such a good way to motivate everyone, because everyone would be compelled to do a workout, and there will be penalty, but not financial penalties if they do not comply with the minimum 30 minutes workout. So alternatively, besides 30 minutes workout, they can choose or 10,000 steps per day, so that if they cannot go out to work out for 30 minutes, maybe they can go for 10,000 steps per day. So this is the first step they can achieve by maintaining a good, healthy lifestyles. So I really hope the Prime Minister can give me this power to encourage and motivate everyone to work out every single day. Back to you, Roy.
Hey, thank you, Vanessa. And everyone, let's give a big round of applause to Vanessa. Yeah, I think to force everyone, or maybe to make a law for everyone to actually to work out, is actually very prioritized towards the health. I think over this whether MCO towards CMCO and IMCO, I think the only thing that I gain is not my wealth, but mainly is actually my weight. So I think necessary the needed the workout to actually to cut down my weight. Okay, so okay, I saw Suwan actually say, Ariel, do you raise your hands? Want to go for the third one?
Sure,
I think we
sure.
still can go for one. Yep. Okay. Hey, okay, Ariel. So you want to go for the fun one, or you want to go and talk about more serious, or I think maybe you want to take a more practical one. No, it's
Master.
I still have plenty of questions. So which one wanted to go for it?
That's a fun one, please.
Okay, fun one. Okay, so one more for a fun one. So 1 or 2? Sorry, yeah, two, sorry, 2 and 4. 2 and 4.
4, please. I love 4.
4. Okay. So if you have the ability to start all over again, what will it be eventually?
Pardon, sorry?
The topic itself is that if you have the ability to start all over again, what will it be eventually?
Start over about myself, right?
Yep, anything that you wanted to start over again. Okay. Yep. So over to you, Ariel.
Well, starting over. That's an interesting topic, isn't it? Perhaps most of you, not all, but most of you, thought that I've done it good, but it could have been better. I could do something in a better way and achieve more. Then you're imagining yourself to, can I start over? Well, if to me, I don't want to take the opportunity. But if I should, I want to make a little change when I was a student in the university for undergraduate. At that time, I was so busy with many organizations, activities that pushed me to be overwhelmed in my study. And if I could change that, I'm pretty sure that at the moment, I could be a better person with a better achievements, and the best line and the most outcome I want is I can make a bigger impact. Back to the table, topic master, please.
Hey, thank you, Ariel. Thanks. Let's give us Ariel a very big round of applause. Yeah, I think this is one of the things is that if there's a technology that let us to go back to repeat what we have done, if I think definitely everyone have one things that you want to start over again, whether when your childhood time, whether you are in your meet the teenagers or maybe after the marriage. Okay, so that's definitely things I think a lot of stuff that we wanted to actually restart or to redo again. So yep. So Vance, do we have time for one more, or we have to move on to the next section already? So okay, one more. Okay, so do we have one last volunteer?
Yi says she wants to do it.
Okay, Yi.
Yes, hi.
Hi. Yeah, so I think the fun one we left one more, and we have some of the more practical one.
I will do the more practical one because I'm not a creative person.
Okay, so practical one is that you have 1 to 4. Which one you want to choose?
Number 1.
Number 1. Okay. E is dream cheap. Is dream cheap? The question is dream cheap?
Cheap.
Yeah, cheap. CHAP. Yeah. Okay. Over to you, Yi.
Thank you so much, Roy. Is dream cheap? Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Toastmaster and guests, have you ever thought of this? Is dream cheap? If you think it is cheap, please raise your hand. If you think it is expensive, please raise your hand. If you're not sure about it, please raise your hand. Right, I can see a lot of you have been raising your hand saying that dream is expensive. I also noticed that there are 2 persons in this room. Forgive me if I miss you because I can only see up to maximum 25 people in this Zoom. I saw Duncan and Minion has been raising their hand saying that dream is cheap. For me, I agree with that. Why do I say so? Just every single day, when we switch on the TV, when we turn on the radio or even the podcast, the YouTube, every single platform that we can come across, everyone is talking about dream. Okay, dare to dream, chase your dream. But have you thought of it is an overstatement? Like you have to have dreams so that you can survive, so that you have the purpose, the meaning in your life. But what if, try to think back, many years back when you are still a baby, when you got nothing, you don't know a shit about a dream, are you still surviving? Are you still happy about your life? And I tend to have this emotional problem of chasing over my dream. And I felt bad when I am procrastinating, I'm doing nothing, and I can't find my own dream and goal in my life. It was until I came across with a video that Duncan shared it with me. It is okay for you if you don't have a dream. You can just keep going, doing, trying things out until you are able to find a calling. It might not be your dream. It might not be what you really want to do. It might not be a girl who wants to marry to a Prince Charming and have a happily ever after life. Everyone has a different goal or the things that they enjoy in their life, but that is not necessarily a dream. That could just be something that you enjoy doing. So in conclusion, I think that the word of dream or the importance that people emphasize about dream is like an overstatement. It's all about yourself, your life, whether you enjoyed it, whether you love it. Without dream, you are still living and you're still sustaining, you're still surviving. So that is what I thought. The word dream is overly used and it is cheap. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Yi. Hey, everyone, let's give Yi a very big round of applause. Yup, I think after your session, I feel like dream is cheap because I think later after the night, when I just go back to bed again, I think I don't think I need to pay a single cent just for a dream. But I just hope that everyone will have a good dream for tonight and after the meeting. Okay, so yep, I think we are running out of time for the table topic session. So we will go for the voting, which is to who will be the best, who have what for the best table topic for tonight, which is speakers the best. So anyone posting the vote?
Yeah, launching. You can see
Okay, thanks.
voting now.
Yeah, thanks, Hasno. Okay, I think that's all, and maybe I will just pass back to Washing. Yep, over back to you, Washing.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Roy. Woohoo! And thank you to all the brave speakers just now. Thank you for igniting our inner wonderment of dreams, but also balancing out with practicality. This really reminds me of a quote by Robin Sharma. Everything happens twice, once in your mind and another one in reality. So, ladies and gentlemen, never stop dreaming, but most importantly, start moving first. So let us now move on to our next session. I would like to welcome, sorry, our newly crowned competent communicator, Toastmaster Noel, to lead us in the next session.
Thank you, Washing. Thank you. Can you all hear me? Yes? Okay, great. All right. Thank you, Table Topic Master Roy. I had a very interesting night. It was a really interesting, fun topic you have there. Everyone, please give Roy a round of applause for the topic that he's given. Okay, so first I will start off with Ming Yan. Okay, Ming Yan. So you have go straight into the answer the topic by telling us that you want to be the Superman. So you can fly around the world to do whatever you want. You actually start off you give us a feeling of natural, like you make me trying to imagine and pictures like the holiday kind of feeling, and you so successfully like pointed out the pain point that we are currently facing, like we're not able to dine in, and then you add another point that lead us to your vivid imagination and say, okay, being this you cannot dine in, but being a Superman can fly you everywhere. Oh my God, that give me, the feeling of going to the holiday, but no, you cannot. So you have did a great job by leading us, the audience, into the feeling of holiday. So that is a good point of view. Keep up. And move on to Vanessa. Okay, I cannot say Vanessa on my screen, but yes, Vanessa. I think this questions was meant for you, the lawmaker, but you give me a twisted answer. But of course, this is a fun question. I would thought like, okay, because you addressed PM at the first place, and I thought it would be something a serious topic, but in the end, you came out, you're very health conscious. You show us that, oh, we should do this, a 30 minutes workout or a 10,000 step. And especially when one thing I really like about you for this table topic, the short sessions, you have this high energy vibe. So when you talk about the workout, we can feel you from where we are. So I at that moment, I never thought that you are a lawyer. You're more like a trainer to me. So do keep up the good vibes. I really enjoy when you show us, when you tell us, what we should do, 30 minutes or 10,000 steps. So keep up the good vibes, Vanessa. I really like the vibes. And next, Arior. All right. So what I like about you, your table topic was very natural. Okay, I can see you on my screen. And especially liked about your body language, because most of us, when we do a virtual meeting like now, the body language is very limited. Well, somehow I can see you giving us the hand gestures and everything. So yeah, you make that short session very, very interesting. Keep up the good work. I really enjoy that, Ariel. And next we have, well, Yi, because usually Yi is as lively as vibrant always. And I really like the way that you start off the table topic with asking us questions and more following by a few questions. So you really put me in a hard situation. It's like, oh, sorry, I have to evaluate you. I'm not supposed to think the questions that you're gonna ask, but you did successfully that put it in a situation that thinking, oh yeah, you asking that question. So that is a very that's a nice one. And as usual, I like your vibes and energy, and especially the statement that you make, without dream, you're still living. So that's a nice one. Okay, keep up the good work, and I really do enjoy the table topics tonight, everyone. Okay, back to you, questions.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Noel. Let us all give her another big hand. Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Noel, for that very positive evaluation. I'm sure all the 4 speakers really enjoyed your evaluation and have something to take back for themselves. Okay, so now, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving towards a short break. So how many minutes do we have for the break? Can we do 2 minutes?
Yeah, I think can.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we will have a short 2 minutes break, and we will come back here at 8:52. Okay, see you all later.
Hasno or Suwan, can you please help one guest, Ji-san? She's tried to log in again and she can't seem to log in. I think Hasno, if you can help, because I think Suwan's preparing for his speech. Yeah.
Can I have his phone number?
Ashley, Jisan is what's her details or?
I text you, Hasno.
Yeah, you text me.
Yeah. You guys go through WhatsApp, please. Thanks.
All right.
Stephanie, can you hear me? Yes, yes, yeah. Shall we just start off with
It's already 2 minutes.
Yep. Can we get Aislon to introduce the meeting back and pass it back to Washing?
All right, so everybody, is everybody back? So let's start our meeting soon. And now let's welcome Washing.
Hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Hope all of you are back. I'm sorry we had to do a really short break. I hope you didn't fall while you were rushing to the washroom to empty your bladder or to the kitchen to fill up your bottle. But anyway, glad to have you back now. So while you were, sorry guys, before we move on, there's a few minor corrections on the agenda. First one is the last prepared speech speaker for tonight. His speech title will be 3 Life Lessons instead of their life lessons. It's 3 life lessons. And also, we are really glad to welcome back our grammarian, Jessica. Is she here? So the grammarian role will be taken back by Jessica instead of Yi. Okay, so now that we are back, let's start our next session. Okay, so for tonight, for our first speaker, before I welcome her on stage, I would like to welcome her evaluator, Min Woo, to read out her speech objective first. Over to you, Min Woo.
Hi, Rachel. Let me take your evaluations. Okay. Rachel, the purpose of this project is for the member to identify his or her primary leadership style or styles. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her primary leadership style or discuss leadership style in general. Okay, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Minu. Now, let us all welcome this person who has just picked up chess and is a huge fan of Elon Musk, as you can tell from the speech title. So let me welcome Rachel Leong up on stage. Elon Musk, Rachel Leong, Elon Musk. Over to you, Rachel.
Thanks, Washing. I'm just about to share my screen, so let me know if you can all see. Or Washing, you can let me know if they can all see. Can everybody see Elon Musk? Yeah, good. Great. Just gonna click slideshow. All right, so Elon Musk is a business mogul, an inventor, and also an engineer. He's actually dubbed one of the world's most remarkable living entrepreneurs of our time. And rightly so, right? Because he has created several billion-dollar companies and he's barely reached 3/4 of his lifetime. First of which is PayPal, which supports online money transfers. This was sold at a $1.5 billion valuation in 2002 to eBay. We have SpaceX, which aims to build rockets at a lower cost and has this crazy vision of multi-planetary colonization. And then finally, of course, we have Tesla, which is very well known and builds the first of its kind electric vehicles. So whether or not you think Elon Musk is good, he is undeniably a leader. So I took a look at some of the leadership traits of Elon Musk to share with all of you today. First leadership trait is the ability to have a vision. So what's most important to understand is why Elon Musk is doing what he's doing. Basically, his vision. To him, it is not good enough to start a company just to make money. This man seeks solutions to the world's most important and large-scale issues that will impact our lives. I think he truly believes, right, that what he's doing will provide humanity with the best chance of a good future. And what's more impressive than having a vision is your ability to make people believe in it. Anybody remember this car? So who here thought, right, that Tesla's vision was to create expensive cars for the rich? Well, I certainly did. Back in 2002, Elon Musk ventured into the most unthinkable and ill-advised idea, which was to create electric car vehicles via Tesla. Tesla's vision was actually to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. So with the first two models that he rolled out, if you recall, the first one was the Roadster, the second was the Model S. I mean, both models, nobody could afford because it was too expensive. But the idea was that he would take the revenues from the first two models and pump it into the Model 3, which is the high volume, low cost car for the masses. And this is how he planned to execute his vision to get as many electric vehicles onto the road as possible. But at that time, when he started Tesla, the odds were stacked against him. There were inherent problems with electric vehicles. So the first of which was range. The battery life just could not sustain long car drives. The other one was performance. So when we think of powerful engines, when we think of electric car vehicles, the picture that most commonly comes to mind is actually golf carts. So when we think zooming acceleration, right, people think like powerful gas engines and not these small electric motors. And lastly, and very importantly, is price, because most of the EVs that people know of are more expensive than gas cars, largely attributable to the high cost of batteries. Given the difficulty of the endeavors that Elon Musk pursues, right, the most important thing that he needs to do is to articulate a clear vision of the future. So from the very moment he invested in this company, he painted this vision to the public, right, of this petrol-free future. And this is ultimately what drives fanatical customers as well as very passionate employees. So how does he execute on his vision? Well, that brings me to my second point. He sets very high standards. So Musk is not content with just doing, what everybody else is doing. He sets very high standards for himself and for others. And because of this, right, he has been said to be quite a polarizing figure in business. So these are some of the quotations that I got from his ex-staff. So Elon always wants to know, why can't we go bigger, better, faster? And you can always tell when someone's gone through an Elon meeting because they feel defeated. Will I ever be good enough? But interesting enough, during the third rocket launch of his company, SpaceX, which subsequently exploded, right? So it was a failure. The staff mentioned that he just emerged and delivered this very powerful speech. And it was the most impressive display of leadership that they have ever witnessed. So when you kind of peel off the layers and you look at this cult-like status that he has, right alongside this, willingness to kind of go through what seems like blatant hell to achieve the vision that he has, it all comes down to respect. And it's respect for the high standards he sets. It's respect for his work ethic, for his intelligence. And this, I'd like to bring you to this current slide, which is what the Model S has actually set out to achieve as a result of the high standards he has set. So the Model S has cutting-edge battery technology, which sustains the long drives, over-the-air software updates, which means essentially the car just gets better over time, and a record acceleration rate of 2.3 seconds. So the high standards that he sets himself essentially powers his vision, but also drives the enduring respect that people have towards his work. Well, as with all ambitious plans, failure often comes knocking at his door. So Musk is not afraid of failure. I think he sees it as an organic part of the creation process, right? So he takes feedback in because he feels that this refines the ideas he has and brings him that much closer to achieving his goals. This is a picture of the explosion, one of many that SpaceX had. So by the third time he launched a rocket into space and it exploded before it reached orbit, things started to get serious. Well, he knew at that point, right, in order to secure any meaningful investment, to get contracts, big notable contracts, he would have to prove that he could at least successfully launch a rocket into space. And he did mention to the press at that point, he only had enough funds for a fourth and last launch. And if that rocket exploded again, SpaceX would be done. So I think this illustrates that as a leader, you really have to embrace failure. You have to look it in the eye. And the higher the risk of your venture, the higher the chance of failure. But what I really respect about him is he has this incredible growth mindset that prevents him from feeling defeated. Every time he's hit down, he climbs back up. So since their first 3 failed launches, SpaceX has launched additional 20 times, all successes, and NASA is now a regular client of his. So leadership is not the glamour that we read in the news. In fact, it could be just as hard as rocket science. Well, in Elon's case, it definitely is. But beneath, the glossy magazines, I feel are real world heroes that are willing to risk it all just to execute on their vision. And they are in relentless pursuit of excellence, even if that means they have to do it alone. And when they fail, they simply get back on the horse and do whatever it takes to launch again. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what it takes to be a leader. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel, for the very interesting speech. Let us give her another big round of applause. Thank you, Rachel, for sharing the very powerful message of what we can learn from Elon Musk. And certainly, you have really captivated me, and I'm sure a lot of others, with the very interesting biography and your very extensive vocabulary. So good job on that. Okay, so now moving on, another person who will be persuading us. He's a lawyer by day and a speech crafter by night. So before I pass the stage to him, let me welcome the evaluator, which will be evaluating his speech for tonight, Toastmaster Aruna. Can you read out his speech objective? Over to you, Toastmaster Aruna.
Thank you, Toastmaster Washing. Leonard, welcome to Project 10 of Competent Communicator Manual. This project is to inspire your audience. The speech objective is to inspire the audience by appealing to noble motives and challenging the audience to achieve a higher level of beliefs or achievement. Try to appeal to the audience needs and emotions using stories, anecdotes, and quotes to add drama. Good luck, Leonard.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aruna. Now, this person who spends his day in the court, and tonight he will be on a different platform sharing a message and a story that is very close to his heart, with the speech title of The Person Who Inspires Me the Most. Let me now welcome Toastmaster Leonard up on stage with the speech title, The Person Who Inspires Me the Most. The person who inspires me the most, Leonard Hu. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmasters Washing. Good evening to Madam President, Toastmaster of the evening Washing, and all of the guests present here today. What makes someone inspirational? To me, inspiration is about instilling faith in a person so as to enable and motivate him to achieve something in life. There are many people in my life who had inspired me, but few of them left an indelible and continuous positive impact and inspiration on me. Today, I'm going to share a speech predominantly about a person whose life story, style, and manners have served as a positive example to me, and more importantly, who has inspired me. He is my late grandfather. Resilient, determined, and an honest man. These three qualities remind me of my late grandfather. He was born in an impoverished family back in Hainan, China, southern China, back in the year 1980. When he was 20, he had to leave his beloved family to head to Southeast Asia, joining back then the army of one of hundreds of thousands of indentured laborers hoping to seek a better life in the region. Through a combination of luck and by chance, he survived the journey and landed in a new place back then called Malaya, ready to begin his new life in the late 1930s. His story was not atypical to many millions of Chinese men during his era who faced similar challenges of having to live through abject poverty, war, and hardship. However, to me, his story is about an extraordinary person who was able to demonstrate his enduring strength and above all, to be able to rise above all the hardship faced and become the captain of his own thoughts, beliefs, and action. Step by step, slowly but surely, he walked with courage and with blessings from the God, he succeeded to live a successful and a full life. Resilient. My grandfather is a very definition of a resilient person. His life, if I can sum it up, is one with constant struggle, filled with unimaginable hardship and obstacles of our generation. He was born in a family, to start with, he was born in a family mired in poverty and had to withstand innumerable hardships, such as, just to name a few, the sorrow of losing his both parents when he was 7, forced to leave his beloved birthplace, Hainan, when he was 20, and working hard to provide for a living for his children during his middle age. Each time, however, he bounced back stronger and better. Me being the only child in my family, I was lucky that my grandparents and both my parents lavished me with their undivided love, attention, and resources, of which I'm still grateful today. However, my grandfather was careful not to spoil me excessively, so as to mold me into a pampered, entitled, and a person with an overweening sense of own importance. He knows that if I do not learn how to cope with disappointment and frustrations in life, I will not go far in life. I remember that when I was in my secondary years, I was 13 or 14 years old back then. I was faced with my first setback in life. Someone bullied me in the school. And it is my grandfather who told me that instead of constantly complaining to my parents, hoping my parents to sort all the problems out for me and to deal with my setbacks, I must start to take responsibility for my own life, as those who doesn't will be overwhelmed in the long run. He encouraged me to confront those who are giving me problems. He not only encouraged me to do so, in fact, he taught me that when we are faced with challenges in life, we should take it one step at a time. Confront each challenge one step at a time, making small gradual improvements along the way. If necessary, persevere through the hardest time. It will eventually pass. As long as we get a little better every day, we will in the long run not only overcome our challenges, but also achieve our goals. Determined. Growing up with my grandfather for 17 years, he loves to share about his life experience on how sheer determination helped him achieve his goals and got to where he was on that point of time. His sharing was inspiring and had a great impact on me. When he set sail for Malaya back in 1930s, he had to leave behind his newlywed wife, my grandmother, and his brother back in China. Back then, he did not even dare to bring them along to Southeast Asia because it is full of uncertainty and unknowns. He didn't even know whether he will make it alive in Southeast Asia, let alone flourish. However, he shared, right after he landed in Malaya, it was clear from day one that in the long term, he is determined not only to bring his brother to Malaya, but also to bring his wife here in order to have a family reunion and also give them a chance to have a better life. This determination motivated him to not only work tirelessly day and night to build up his financial means in order to achieve his goal, but it also spurred him, an illiterate man with little background on financial education, to sit down, think and plan about how he can achieve his goals quicker. Hence, he decided that instead of just working for wages as a cook in a bustling mining town back then in Bentong, Pahang, he decided to start a business, his own business. His reasoning back then was simple. He reasoned that since working for wages was always subject to a range of abuses by employers, he will start his own business instead. Through sheer determination and luck, he earned enough to bring both his brother and his wife 10 years after he landed in Malaya. It is with the same determination in the later part of his life that he was able to provide enough for his children financially to pursue their studies, including my father to pursue his studies in the university. In retrospect, his determination kept him in control and motivated to work towards his long-term goal. Many of his peers managed to make a fortune in the bustling town of Bentong, but they instead squandered a lot of their newfound wealth on gambling, opium, and prostitution. The absence of determination had made most of the difference. Despite not having much education, my grandfather was a man who believed strongly on the virtues of being an honest person. He always reminded me that one is always to be an honest person, as honesty leads to trust. Where there is trust, there will be a growing and sustainable relationship with other people. Being true to your words and making sure that you do what you say and mean what you say, or that what it takes for other people to see you as a reliable, dependable, and trustworthy person. This applies to all aspects of human relationship. Without strong relationship with your peers, he shared that he would not have survived multiple crises in his life which before him during different points of his life. For example, at one point of his life, he was in dire need of financial assistance, and he was able to obtain informal loan from his personal friends in their personal capacity, as they trust and know that my grandfather is a credible man and he will always honor his promise and words to pay back the money in time. So simple thing can make a difference. On the surface, my grandfather's appearance may be blunt and cold because of his stern personality, but after you get to know him, he can be a warm-hearted, friendly, and kind person who cares about his family and his local community as a whole. Special people like him taught me a great deal about life in the span of my 17 years that I spent with him. The lesson he taught through his characters and thoughts and love to his family are invaluable, and I believe it has molded me into the person I am today. It is true that in a lot of cases, the person around us can turn out to be the most inspiring person in our life. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Leonard. Thank you for sharing with us that thank you for sharing with us the exemplary qualities of your grandfather. And indeed, that's a very great reminder to all of us that there's always something valuable and treasurable that we can learn from the older generations. Now, as a tradition in our club, for those who have completed their CC10, we would all stand up and give him a standing ovation. So I'm not sure how we can do it now. Yeah, maybe we can just do this to celebrate his success. Woohoo! Yeah! Okay, thank you all. Thank you for the inspiring speech, Leonard. So moving on to our next speaker. Before I invite him on stage, I would like to ask his evaluator, Toastmaster Charlene, to read out his evaluation.
Hold on, yeah. One. I'm still loading mine. All right. Toastmaster Suwan, your speech, the purpose of your speech is for you to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. And also the purpose of this speech is for you to share some aspect of a previous experience as a protege. So back to you, Washing.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Charlene. Now, our next speaker, he is a person who loves tree. Suwan Bonma, with the speech title, To Breathe is to Live, to Live is to Give. Over to you, Toastmaster Suwan.
Do you know that stress can cause you short of breath? A study showed that if you are having stress, you tend to have this shallow breathing. You see, our body is not designed to hold our breath. It's supposed to exhale carbon dioxide and inhale in order for you to breathe. And a believable fact, right? In the other hand, tree is designed to take in our carbon dioxide and gives us oxygen. My dear friends, for me, a tree is a representation of a mentor, or you like to call it 师傅 in Chinese, guru in India. Mentor gives us oxygen, comfort, and nutrient to grow. In this club, my 师傅 is Washing. In the beginning, just like most of you, I ask, why him? Hello, VPE, why him? Can't I have someone more handsome like me? After realize that that is a bad question, I start to ask myself a better question. Why not? A tree is better than no tree. A girlfriend is a friend. Same context. It turns out Washing gave me his time, energy, gave me feedback, and invested in my growth, just like a tree. We even went to the comedian club together. He encouraged me to take on that open mic stage. I'm glad I did. Rejected him. Ladies and gentlemen, I used to belong to a men's gymnastic group. One of my brothers is here, Joe. We have the privilege to perform in the national level. And the Sifu that I consider is my seniors. My senior held my hand when I'm fall, uplifted me when I'm down, and they did so without asking any in return. And most importantly, whenever we face challenges, my seniors were the ones who stand up to take on the challenges and sometimes take on blames. They are the most remarkable people I've met in my life. And when I'm ready to take on a leadership position and I wasn't confident enough to do so, my seniors came to me and say, Suwan, your life is not about you. Life is about giving. To live is to give. Because leadership is not about being in charge. It's about being taking care of those who in your charge. Ladies and gentlemen, once I graduated, I landed my first job with the biggest electronic consumer company. I was motivated and wanted to make a dent to the world, only to find out I'm in the positions of hitting myself, struck with hardship, especially come with leadership. Ouch. Instead of taking care of us, the company leader is more interested in taking care of themselves. Whenever things were good, they were there to receive credit. And when things goes wrong, no one will stand up and take the responsibility. After months of seniors, and my seniors came to me and say, Suwan, there's a reason happen for everything. And when you found out the reason and connect with your purpose, that is where you will find your unique gift and give to the world. I went back to the company and changed me. I started to make friends beyond my department with the intentions of bringing joy to others without asking any in return. And some of my colleagues think that I'm sad, single, and desperate. No, I'm not. You see, the more joys I bring to others, the more joys I will get. Ladies and gentlemen, Elite Toastmaster Club is like a big tree with many trees around it. From intentions of improving my speaking skill, this club has changed me. There are some of the most remarkable people I've met in this club. For example, Yi. Yi, where are you? He wanted to make a world a happier place using her voice. How beautiful. Aruna, where's Aruna? Aruna, being a frontline medical officer, if you see her smile, you might think that she's on front desk, not frontline. Where's KJ? KJ is the most selfless Sifu. He will not hoard any skill. Wendy, show us the pin letter. Ladies and gentlemen, let's ask ourselves a better question. If you will become a tree, what type of the tree will you become? Are you the tree that gives nutrient, comfort, and safety to others? Or you will become the tree that easily swayed by negativity, instant gratifications, or self-interest? And when the time comes, just remember, to breathe is to live, to live. Washing.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Thank you, Suwan. Thank you for sharing about your experience with different mentors in different phases of your life. Indeed, it really resonated with a lot of us, especially the analogy of trees. And of course, with your sense of humor that you never failed to add into every single speech of yours. At least now I know how I look in your eyes. So no worries, I will become a trimmer tree by cutting my hair. So I'll look more handsome, hopefully. Okay, so now talking about mentor, it's time for us to move on to our last speaker of the night. But before that, I'd like to welcome his evaluator for tonight, Toastmaster Jingman, to read out his speech objective. Over to you, Toastmaster Jingman.
Thank you, Washing. Hello, Chen Chen. Your speech objective is select the right word and sentence structure to communicate your idea clearly, accurately, and vividly. Use rhetorical device to enhance and emphasize ideas. Eliminate jargons and unnecessary words. Use correct grammar. All the best to you, Chen Chen. And back to you, Mr. TME Washing.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jingman. Now, this person, he is a grand mentor of Elite Toastmasters Club who never failed to share with us all the skills and knowledge that he has acquired. And he is also the pillar of our Elite Toastmasters Club. So without any further ado, let me welcome our next speaker, Toastmaster Chen Chun, with a speech titled 3 Life Lessons. Over to you, Toastmaster Chen Chun.
Life is like a race. When you run fast, you achieve your goal faster. But when you run slow, you get to enjoy life better. And it took me 30 years of running this race to go through the ups and downs, the high and lows, and the twist and turn to finally decipher the 3 life lessons, the 3 guiding principles that guided me for many years to come. It all started in the year 2009. I applied for my internship and I got it. As I entered my first internship experience, and back then, if you were like me, 18 years old, got your first job, got paid, you will feel like you are a Superman. You feel like you're on top of the world. You want to do a lot of things. You are the first one to reach office and the last one to leave. I go to my boss and say that, do you have more work? I want more work. I went around, I snapped pictures of my officers. I took notes of everything that I learned. And the one single decision that I did well was to network with the managing director of this accounting firm. And her name was Teresa. As I completed my internship, I requested for testimonial, top of the class testimonial. And I knew I had sealed the deal. I went back to university. I cruised along the way of 1 year and finally graduated.
And happily, I applied for that job. One fine morning, I received an email. Dear Chen Chun, we regret to inform that we couldn't offer you a position. I appeal, they reject. I appeal again, they reject again. I appeal again, they did not reply. So I was down. I was at the ground. I was knocked down. And I needed to find ways to get back on my feet again. So one day, in an accounting conference, I realized that the managing director was speaking. And I went up to the organizer and I said, you know, the managing director is speaking to my peers in university. Why don't you give me a 10-minute slot and I will share my experience in this company? What do you think about that? He looked at me, I looked at him. He looked at me, he looked away. He said no. Then I took every courage I have and I went up to the managing director that I networked with and I asked her, could you give me a 10-minute slot? She said yes. So remember the photos I took, remember the notes that I wrote, and remember the network that I've created. I came out with a PowerPoint slide called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And at the end of the speech, I got a standing ovation. And that managing director came up to me and said, have you ever thought of joining us? I told yes, but I couldn't get in because of so and so. And she said the most beautiful words, let me handle that for you. The next day, the director called and immediately I got the job. Now, the first lesson I learned was, don't get ready, but stay ready. Because in life, you will never get ready for anything. But once you have the skills like what you have learned in Toastmasters, you will always be prepared and always stay ready for the opportunity to come. As I entered into the working world, I got exposed to this whole new world. And I was so fascinated by all this knowledge on leadership, on strategy, on competitiveness, on innovation, that I started to write a blog. And I wrote the blog with no intention of sharing with anyone. None of you here, I think none of you here know that there is a blog that I wrote. It has all the articles that I curated over time. One day, I decided to seek advice from the CEO. I walked into his room and I said, the CEO's name was Azman. I said, Azman, I would like to seek your advice. I'm thinking of changing a profession. He then looked at me and he said, Chen Chun, you are very courageous, but let me ask you this. What is accounting to you? I was doing accounting back then. Of course, I answered, accounting is all about debit and credit. It's all about cost control. It's all about income statement. It's all about debit and credit. He looked at me with the piercing eyes and he looked outside his room and I could hear his people typing away with the keyboard sound. I could hear the printing machine and he said, with that kind of definition, you will end up like them, not me. And then I asked, so what is your definition of accounting then? He said, accounting is the provision of information for strategic decision making. Exact same word. And I remember that until today. Although I'm not an accountant, but I'm always grateful for the skills that I have learned, which is the second lesson. How you perceive what you do will drive your attitude towards what you do. I did not hate accounting. In fact, I'm still an accountant right now because I have the skill. And one day, if I quit the consulting line, I still possess the consulting skills. And that is this second life lesson. The third life lesson came when I quit my job and I started my company. And when GST came in, I was struggling. I wasn't paid for almost a full year. And I had to pay the tax department. I had to pay my staff. I had to pay my rental. And I started to question myself. There was one day I was driving back. As I was driving back, I started to have tears. You all may think that I'm such a tough guy, but I can be quite sensitive at times. I start to tear and I start to curse the world. I start to curse the world in the way that, why is the world not fair? Why is this happening? And even until today, I still have situations when I say, why is my client like this? You know, life is so unfair. Why the client always has to be right? You know, I work so hard, why am I not recognized? Then I realized one key lesson that I hope to impart to all of you. and that is this. If you have a choice to be right or be kind, always choose to be kind. Because when you are somebody who always want to be right, there will be another person out there that must be wrong for you to be right. And it's just not a happy place to be in. So always choose to be kind. Because kind comes internally, right comes externally. As I built up from the ground when I had nothing, I applied for a job. As I went into the room, the boss interviewed me. Because of Toastmasters, I was prepared. Because of the blog that I've written, it has over 900 followers with 6,000 views. I shared that with the interviewer. He was impressed. And I started to bring back all the skills that I've learned to sell myself to this employee. And today I ended up at one of the global consulting firms. So ladies and gentlemen, for you to succeed in life, it's not about the big goals. It's not about the fortune at the end of the tunnel. To live a life, you just need to remember, don't get ready, stay ready. How you perceive what you do determines the attitude towards what you do. And lastly, if everything in your life goes wrong, and you have a choice to either be right or be kind, always choose to be kind. Lesson 1, lesson 2, and lesson 3. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chen Chun. Thank you for sharing with us that 3 very important life lessons, which are stay ready, how you perceive, how you do, and always choose to be kind. And I believe that this is something that we can all take back and really can change our lives. So thank you for sharing those very important lessons with us. Now, moving on. Before we move on to the third section, I would just like all of you to spend about 1 minute to vote for the best assignment speaker. Can we have the votes?
Launching. Yeah, you can vote now.
Okay. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, are all of you done with the votings? Show me a sign. Okay, so most of you are done. All right, for the next session, I would like to pass the stage to my mentor, Toastmaster Diane, the GE of the night, to lead the evaluation session. Over to you, Toastmaster Diane.
Thank you, Washing. A round of applause for Washing for that lovely introduction. Thank you so much. And just before I get started with the evaluation session, I'd just like to welcome, we've got 2 guests who have stepped in. So Natalie, would you like to just introduce yourself? Keep it brief, please. Just tell us your name and where you're from and why you're here. Yeah.
Yes, hello, my name is Natalie. I come from Bali. My home club is Magical Bali Toastmasters Club. And I came here because your guest, Aryo from Jakarta, invited me. And then I contacted your Instagram with Suwan. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you so much, Natalie. Round of applause, please, for Natalie. Thank you. And Nitin, would you like to introduce yourself and just tell us, introduce yourself, tell us how you found us. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. So I just joined today because Chen Chun, I work with Chen Chun. Okay, so I think he asked me to join this Toastmasters and to learn something from you guys, and maybe in some point of time later if I can share something my experience, then that'll be good. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Nitin. Okay, thank you guys for that, and let's first move on to the first evaluator who will be evaluating the first speech. So please welcome Minwoo.
Okay. Hi, Rachel. It's my honor to give you your an evaluations on your speech tonight. So in general, I really like your speech because of so many good points, but I have picked the 2 points that I like the most. And I will also give you my 2 points of improvements. So the first point of the first good point is it is very well structured speech. It is a well structured speech in itself, and with the support from your presentations slide, it even easier for us to follow, and it is very clear on the objective on what you want to achieve via your speech. And with that, you are able to lead the audience to where you want the where you want the audience to be. And my second good point is the choice of topic. Elon Musk has been a very hot topic recently because of the launch of the Starlink satellite and also the name he has given to his baby boy. And to me, it's a very good choice of topic because it's easily to get attentions from your audience. And everything about Elon Musk recently is worth listening to. And by doing that, you already get yourself an advantage. Now, move on to my point of improvement. So my first point of improvement is probably you can give your audience some background, some reasons why you admire Elon Musk. I'm sure that you have your own reasons why you idolize him. Maybe share a bit with your audience to sprinkle a bit of personal touch and differentiate yourself from others Elon Musk fanboy. My next point of improvement is I feel that you were too rushed to move to your main part of your speech from the introductions. To me, introductions is a good step for you to pump your audience up, to motivate them, to prep them up, to start the journey of knowing Elon Musk a little bit more. So next time, I would suggest you to take your own sweet time in your introductions. So in conclusions, I really like your speech, and I have two good points that I like the most about your speech, which is very well structured and the choice of topic. And I also have 2 points of improvement for you, which is to give your audience a little bit of personal touch and don't rush to your main part of the speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Minbu. Give him a round of applause or reaction, please. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for that. And now I'd like to move on to our second evaluator, and that would be Aruna. Please welcome Aruna.
Thank you, Diane. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. First and foremost, I'd just like to say thank you to Hasnol for entrusting me with the opportunity to be an evaluator for tonight. I must say that I'm deeply humbled and honored to be an evaluator for a great communicator like Leonard. Leonard, I really admire you. You are a cool, calm, and collected speaker. This really inspires a lot of confidence when you deliver your speech. It was well structured, together with your cool manner and also your vocal prowess. You managed to elevate the level of your speech and made me feel very confident regarding you. Your objective here tonight was to inspire us and also to challenge us and maybe to tug at our emotions. It was certainly a very personal story about your grandfather, his challenges, his resilience, his determination, his honesty. I really felt your passion in your speech. However, and I think that you actually did a very good job in achieving the speech objective. My challenge to you though is you have delivered a very good speech, but with a little extra intonation, you would be able to take your speech to the next level and give more depth and breadth to this speech and make it great or exceptional. In summary, I think that you've inspired me very much. You've challenged me. You've actually tugged at my heartstrings. And I think that you have achieved your objective for tonight. I'm so honored and humbled to wish you congratulations in completing your competent communicator manual. So woohoo to you. Thank you. Back to you, Diane.
Thank you, Aruna. Round of applause and a reaction, please. Thank you, Aruna. And now I'd like to welcome our next evaluator, and that would be Charlene. Please welcome Charlene.
Thank you, Toastmaster Diane. To our creative director of our club, Toastmasters Suwan, to brief is to live, and to live is to give. Thank you for delivering such an uplifting and surprising speech to us. And what I like about your speech, the first thing is that I like how innovative you are. You always surprise us. You always think out of the box when you deliver your speech. Instead of like other speakers just sitting in front of a computer and deliver their speech, you choose to just stand in front of the camera and show us your half body. This shows that you really make effort in preparing your speech and really make an effort to impress us. And by doing so, by thinking out of the box, you really make us keen to listen more on what you need to say to us. And I love how creative you are by injecting, by using visual aids in helping you in delivering certain point of your speech. And I also like how you move your body, because sometimes we are just, limited to our space here, but just like what I say, you choose to stand and show us your half body, and by acting some body language, you paint a very vivid picture in our audience mind on all the things that you deliver to us. And the second thing that I like about your speech is your vocal variety. This I refer to your articulations. I love how you articulate your speech clearly, because by speaking clearly, you make us understand your point effectively and make us distinguish each point nicely without getting lost. And I also like how you inject the pauses in certain sentences. By doing so, it gives us time to think and digest what you told us. And the third thing that I like about your speech is that I love how you inject some humor in your speech. By watching you delivering speech, is like watching a cartoon. All the surprising elements and all the humor element will suddenly pop up in front of us, just like how you hit yourself by using a book. And by doing so, right, you are really like bringing like doing some roller coaster emotions, like bring us up and down, and make your speech very enjoyable. One thing that I would suggest to you is that I realized that you speak very slow, only one speed, slow. If you can increase your speed in speaking in certain part of your speeches, maybe you can bring out more emotions in us, so that we can connect with you more. Because if you speak with just one speed, right, sometimes we'll get bored. So overall, I love your speech. I love how innovative you are, and I love your vocal variety, and I love how you inject your humor in your speech. Perhaps if you can increase your speed in certain part of your speeches, it will make your speech superb. And all in all, I hope to listen to your next speech. And back to you, Diane.
Thank you, Charlene. Round of applause. Big reaction, please. Thank you. And our next evaluator, please welcome Jingman.
Thank you, Madam G. Hello, Chen Chen. Thank you for sharing with us your 3 life lesson. I like how you start your speech with run fast can achieve your goals faster, but run slow can enjoy your goal. This reminds me about you achieve your DTM in the 10-year Toastmaster journey. And throughout your speech, I find out there are many strengths on your speech, but I only highlight two. The first strength I really like is your speech very simple and sincere. Your point very easy to follow. You mentioned don't get ready, stay ready, and always choose to be kind. This remind me of my career, and also I think everyone of here recall many of memory in the career. And you just like what your role in the Toastmaster, like a grandfather told us the story to the grandchildren. So it make me feel really sincere. And the second strength is your worker variety. When you mention about how you apply the job and the person reject you, you like very nervous, like appeal something. And also when you dump yourself, you keep asking yourself, then it's also make me feel like how don't bring yourself already. And at the end, when everything goes smooth, you slow down, and I also feel like, oh, the ending is good. It make me feel like roller coaster. So my mood is up and down. So if I may suggest you some advice, the thing I think you can work on it is slow down a bit, because I really up and down. So in conclusion, Chen Chun, you are a good speaker. I really enjoy your speech with the strength that I mentioned just now. And to challenge yourself, try to work on the speech, and then you will become a very good speaker. Thanks for having me, and I'm looking forward for your coming speech. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Jenny, GE.
Thank you, Jingwan. Thank you. Give her a big reaction, please. I like how she called Chen Jun grandfather. I can't imagine what she must be calling me. I'm very afraid right now. Thank you guys for that. And now, can we have 30 seconds on the, 30, possibly about 15 seconds on the clock first to vote for our best evaluator of the evening.
Launching.
Thank you. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let us move on to the technical reports. Can I please invite Jessica to share with us the, can I please get Jessica to share with us her grammarian report? Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you to our general evaluator, Diane. It was a pleasure to me to play a role as grammarian on this meeting. It is very meaningful for me because there was a small hitch up, and I almost cannot join the meeting today. But eventually I make an arrangement, and I believe when there is a will, there is a way. So I finally able to join the meeting and try my very first grammarian role. By the way, I hear there is not much audience using the words of today, believable. Unfortunately, only Suwan used once actually. Yeah. So meanwhile, I have also tried my best to note down some of the outstanding use of English language. So I will start from Joanne, the president. Audrey had bird quote, "Nothing is possible. The words itself say impossible." During the table topic section, you can keep going to find out your dream until it calling. Dream is not is all about yourself, your life. Without dream, you still are living. And Washing, Toastmaster of the evening, Robin Sharman quote, "Everything happened twice, once in your mind, once in reality." And Leonard, the speaker, people around us can turn out to be the most inspired person in our life. And followed by Suwan, life is not about getting, life is about giving. And then Chen Chun, my favorite speaker, to live is to give, taking care of those who is in your chain, in your charge. Life is like a race. If you run fast, you achieve faster. If you run slow, let you enjoy life better. Don't get ready, but stay ready. Always be prepared. Always stay ready when the opportunities come. I was down. I was knocked down. I was on the ground. Instant gratification. If you have a choice to be right or to be kind, always choose to be kind. Kind come internally, right come externally. The last one is Aruna, cool, calm, and collected. Usage of triads. That's all from my report. Thank you. Back to you, Diane.
Thank you, Jessica. Give her a round of applause, please, and a big reaction. It's Jessica's first time as a grammarian. Thank you, Jessica, for stepping up. Okay. And next, we have got our R counter of the evening. Please welcome Hasnul.
Thank you, Diane. So for my R counter report, we do have a lot of filler work from our members, and I amazed the way that Suwan, Chen Chun control their speech. Therefore, there is no filler work at all. I'm not able to detect any filler words due to they have pauses in between of their sentence. So I believe in order for a speaker to have more credibility, they need to control or eliminate all the filler words. How they can do it is by using pauses and not to have their speeches in a fast mode, because when you deliver a speech in a fast, you tend to have a lot of filler words. Back to you, Diane.
Thank you, Hasnul. Round of applause for Hasnul. Thank you for telling us about the R counter. And now I'd like to welcome our timer. Please welcome Ben.
Hi. Okay, today our meeting start very late. We start on 8:08. Call meeting to order by SAA as long go 30 seconds. President address Joanna 7 minutes allowed, use 8 minutes. Toastmaster ceremony Veratron 3 minutes allowed, use for 3 minutes 58 seconds. TME introduction of role player Watson 10 minutes, use 7 minutes 45 seconds. Table topic session Roy Yap. Between that is Ming Yen Tan, use 1.38 minutes. Vanessa used 2 minutes 11 seconds. Ariel used 1 minute 19 seconds. And Yi used 3 minutes. And the next table topic evolution the outro 6 minutes use 4 minutes 6 seconds. And assignment speeches Rachel Leong used 8 minutes 44 seconds. Leonard Hu 9 minutes and 36 seconds. Suwan used 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Chen Chun used 8 minutes and 40 seconds. The next one will be general evaluator. Min Woo used 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Aruna used 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Charlene used 3 minutes and 26 seconds. Jingman used 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Grammarian report Jessica Chu used 2 minutes and 4 seconds. A counter report has no use 1 minute and 25 seconds. And me, yeah, I forgot to count mine. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you, Vance. That's all right. Thank you for the timers report. And now I'd like to move on to the general evaluators report. So thank you everyone for the pleasure and honor of being your general evaluator. So we started off with Sloan, getting the meeting going, getting us started, and at the same time there was a little bit of glitch, so he checked in with Hasnul and Suwan as well what he could do, and then he got the meeting started. I like the way that Sloan introduced. He told us this is a meeting, it's about to start, and then guided us with some of the rules of the meeting, especially during a Zoom meeting. My challenge to Sloan, perhaps to have a look at the agenda beforehand and know that he had to introduce, to understand the flow on how he had to actually introduce the president, because the impact that he has can set the tone of the meeting. So I would have loved to have seen a big welcome, especially for our Madam President. So that's my challenge to ISO next time, taking on the SAA role. The role, especially for that, is that he can set the tone for the meeting. So thank you for that, Sloan. It was a pleasure to listen to you as well. And after that, we had our toast for the evening, and that was delivered by Vera. Thank you so much, Vera, for that wonderful toast. I enjoyed it tremendously. I have to say, the way that the eye contact was shared and Vera's pace was lovely. It was steady, it was composed, and she accompanied it with a smile. I almost felt like we were really connecting, even though there was a screen and internet far, far away from here. And she shared it with a little story, and that story led into the toast that she was intending to share with us. My challenge to Vera, perhaps when we are giving the toast, to unmute, because we're at a Zoom meeting, perhaps she could just tell us all to unmute and follow her to say the word cheers, or even just the particular word that she wanted to share from the story that she had shared earlier on with us. However, other than that, I thought Vera, beautiful, steady, and I look forward to listening to you speak more. And after that, we had our table topic master who got the evening started, and Washing was so excited that he didn't even need anybody to introduce him. He just stepped up to the stage and he was like, I am your Toastmaster of the evening. And he got us all going with his thoughts. And as always, the charm and the humor to get us all feeling, it's Washing. Welcome back, Washing, to get us all going. I also appreciated the aspect that Washing did take note that there were changes on the agenda, and he actually announced it to the club where the changes was, especially there was a bit of confusion over who was to be the grammarian of the evening, and he got us back on that. Perhaps my challenge to Washing is to just watch in conducting the meeting, because I noticed that there was a lot of chatting going on, perhaps to actually start taking control by unmuting himself and saying that, guys, we need to actually move on from the meeting. So that's an assertive part of leadership that is necessary, especially being the Toastmasters of the evening, because we actually want to make sure that the meeting runs accordingly. And after that, we had our table topics, which was done by Roy. Thank you, Roy. First time stepping up as table topic master as well. Thank you so much for that. And the sharing was interesting. I love the questions. There was interesting questions, and how he would also get the volunteers. He would ask them, do you want fun or do you want logical? And you could see everyone was, oh, we don't really know what we want. My challenge to Roy is to perhaps start off, because there was a lot of guests in the meeting, perhaps to also tell the guests why we do table topics. What is the importance of table topics for us, and how have we applied it outside of Toastmasters as well? That is to give us an idea of why we do table topics, and it's an important aspect as well that we have in our meetings. So that would have been lovely to share the benefits of doing it, and also that way it could also encourage the guests to participate in it. But other than that, I like the way that Roy actually created a little bit of a commentary after everybody had spoken. That shows that he was listening, and also he wanted to keep that flow going. And I thought that was a lovely flow to keep us all going and also to keep listening. So thank you for that, Roy. And next we have got our table topics evaluator, and that was done by, let me just check again. Sorry, my brain is, and our table topics, yes, Noel. Thank you, Noel, for stepping in to be our table topics master, evaluator, sorry. And Noel is, I especially like the calmness, how collected she is when she's always sharing her thoughts with us. And I particularly like the way that she encourages all the speakers. Her praises are truly insightful, and it actually goes into a little bit of detail because it comes from how it made her feel, how she thought it actually connected with her. And I thought that was an interesting way of providing and starting an evaluation. My challenge, however, to Noel is that every speaker, table topic speaker, I felt that they could improve on something, and I would have loved to have heard some improvements on how they could actually improve. Maybe not so much as a table topic speaker, but perhaps just as a speaker, like their eye contact, how were they when they were talking to, how was their vocal variety, and perhaps maybe because now we're on a Zoom meeting, were there fidgety moments that make them move too quickly and it causes a glitch from the screen? There are many aspects to look at as well now that we are speaking on Zoom. So thank you for that, Noel. However, as always, lovely, and your steady and calmness and smile always keeps us going as well. And also then we move on to our evaluators. So our first evaluator is Minvu. Thank you, Minvu, for that evaluation. I always find Minvu is very calm and collected, and particularly today there's a bit of a very it's almost like he is a Zen monk, you know, he's the yoga teacher about to tell you like, please look into my eyes and listen to what I have to say. So there was that very calming effect that he shared in his evaluation. I particularly like the way that he actually told Rachel on what he felt was good about the speech, and he mentioned about the structure. My challenge to Minwoo is, I heard in evaluation, I heard there was a what. I heard a little bit of a how, but I would love to hear a why. When I asked what did she do well? Yes, she had a good structure. How did she have that? That was, you said it was sort of easy to follow. So I would have loved to heard a little bit more about the how and the why. How did it impact you? How did it give you that attention that you wanted? So that's my challenge to Minwoo when it comes to the whole what, how, and why on just whether it's a praise, whether it's an improvement, and whether it's a praise. So, but what I did like about Minwoo was that he actually gave us, in conclusion, he actually provided a summary as an evaluator so that we sort of remembered on what he had mentioned earlier and what he wanted to send the message home about the speaker. So thank you for that, Minwoo. Our second evaluator is, sorry, let me just check that again. Our second evaluator is Aruna. Thank you, Aruna. Aruna, this is your first time as well to be evaluating. Thank you so much for stepping up to the platform to evaluate. I was immensely impressed, particularly from the way that you spoke, and you were just like Leonard. I like the way that you kind of matched him with the triads in describing yourselves. So I thought that was a very interesting way of connecting with Leonard. It shows that you were listening intently, and also shows that you were showing how creative you wanted to show in your listening aspect. One of the things I also appreciated was that you did highlight what the objectives of the speech that he achieved. I would have loved to hear a little bit more about that, a bit of more of an elaboration. And also when it came to the improvement aspect, I just felt that there was just a little sentence, and then immediately you ended with an encouraging note. So my challenge to Aruna is that to look towards forms of improvement that a speaker can improve on. And what we look at is how were they with their eye contact. Start with that first. Eye contact, always one of the best ways to start with eye contact. Were there a lot of gestures that were distracting to you? Just simple aspects to look for when we start evaluating first. And also just the vocal variety. With Leonard, was it always one tone, or was there lots of tones to give you that dramatic effect? And how did that make you feel? So that's my challenge to Aruna. Start off with just the eye contact, body language, and vocal variety. Just look at these three things first about a speaker, and then from there, we will definitely be able to see what more we can evaluate upon. However, I like the encouraging note that Aruna ended on. It was enlightening, and certainly if I was a speaker, I would certainly come back and speak again. So thank you for that, Aruna. And our third evaluator is Charlene. So thank you, Charlene, for your evaluation. Charlene is a seasoned speaker, and we can all see that with the way that she was listening intently. And how was she listening intently? You could see with the way that she was providing all her points non-stop. And she had quite a few points and on how the speaker could actually improve. And that was a part that I appreciated from Charlene. She had all these other aspects on how the speaker could improve in delivering their speech. And that's important as an evaluator to see it from a different perspective. And I thought that was well done by Charlene. My challenge to Charlene, this is just something I was noticing, perhaps for her to, her tone, yes, to slow down a little bit, but perhaps also watch her gestures, because if there's one thing I've learned so far, and that was from Chen Chun, he has said that when we are on screen, we have to actually slow down by 20%, a little bit more. Even myself, I've begun to create that awareness that I sometimes also may speak at a normal level in front of a physical audience, but when it comes to virtual, it actually has to go down another 20%. So that's something of my challenge to Charlene, because there were a bit of glitches when she was speaking and when she was moving her hands too quickly to indicate possibly a gesture, it went a little bit all over the place. So that's my challenge to Charlene. However, as Charlene's evaluation was useful to the speaker, and I certainly would recommend all those things. There was something for me to take back as well from what she had shared with the speaker. So thank you for that, Charlene. And our last evaluator of the evening is Jingman. Jingman is this, and this is also Jingman's first time evaluating. So another round of applause to Jingman for that. Thank you, Jingman, for sharing the evaluation. I particularly appreciate your evaluation because first and foremost, as an evaluator, it came from a personal opinion, and how that was shared was through with Jingman's way of speaking. I felt like this, and then you took me on a journey, and I felt like this, and I felt like that. So clearly, it comes from a personal opinion. My challenge to Jingman is to start first when we evaluate someone. So as I mentioned to Aruna earlier, to start first, how was the eye contact for you? And how was the vocal variety? As in, was it steady? Was it calm? Or was it actually, or was there something that you did not find interesting? Well, or what was it that you found interesting? There are certain aspects. So just look at these three simple aspects first: body language, vocal variety, and eye contact first, starting off as an evaluator. So that's my challenge to Jingman, because I did notice she had she was a little bit afraid or hesitant to actually give an improvement to Chen Chun. So I would like to challenge her to not be afraid. This is a safe environment, and in fact she can step up to also provide what she felt about the speech. So I would have loved that as well. But thank you, Jingman, for stepping up and doing the evaluation role for the first time, and I look forward to seeing you do more roles like this. As for our grammarian of the evening, thank you so much, Jessica. And once again, thank you so much for stepping up to do the role. And I know there was a lot of glitches at the end, and I truly appreciate the midway of the meeting where you said I would still like to take on the grammarian role. Thank you so much for that. I particularly like the way that you have listened and clearly you have written in your report. My challenge possibly is to just tell us, how did it make you feel doing this role for the first time? How did you feel doing this role for the first time as a grammarian? Because yes, it can be challenging, but at the same time, it's also to encourage the other members of the benefits. And now that you've done it, how do you feel? Just share things like that so that we can actually understand as well, and also keep the other members motivated on this role. And then we also had our R counter. Hasno, thank you for the slide, for the PowerPoint slide as well, with all the data ready for us to look at and to understand what the importance of the R counter is. Perhaps for Hasno, he could just also highlight to us or keep it creative in a way to tell us who's the champion of the night for the R counters, who had the most R's or the most E's, or perhaps even the double crutches, who had the most, just to keep it creative and to also keep us learning in moments of fun. So that's my challenge to Hasno. But thank you for the report. And for Vance, thank you so much, Vance, for taking on the timing. I know I've gone over time. I've seen the red light. I apologize for that. And thank you for looking at all the other timing and giving us a detailed report. Perhaps my challenge to Vance is to also just tell us what time we started the meeting and what time are we at by the time of the general evaluators report. So this gives us an idea of at which part of the meeting did we slip, or did we go over time, or in which part did we make up for it. So it's a bit more of an analysis overall of the meeting so that we understand how we can actually conduct ourselves better at meetings. But thank you so much, Ben, for stepping up to this role, and thank you for your listening skills as well. And with that, that concludes my evaluation for the evening. Thank you, everyone. And I certainly enjoy it. And a great thank you to all the first timers who have stepped up tonight. And you guys are just in the beginning to making this club better, and it will get better because of your commitment. Thank you. Back to you, back to you, Washing. Thank you.
Right, everybody, give your biggest round of applause and a reaction to all the evaluators of the night. Thank you, Madam GE and all the fellow evaluators for sharing your very in-depth and insightful evaluations. Okay, now it's time for us to move on to the presentation of the certificates for all the best tonight. So before that, I would like all of you to unmute your mic so that when I announce the winners, you guys can do the drum roll. Okay, that cool? Okay, so now for the first one, the best table topic speaker of the night is, drum roll please. Yee! Congratulations, Yi. Okay, moving on. Our best assignment speaker of the night. Drum roll, please. Go Chen Chun! Congratulations!
Thank you! 谢谢大家!
Okay, and for the final winner of the night, our best evaluator. Drum roll, please. Kuna! Thank you. Tonight. Okay, so now before we sign off, I would like to pass the stage to the VPE of the night, Hasnu, as you'll be stepping in for the closing address. Over to you, Toastmaster Hasnu.
Thank you, Washing, for the tremendous as a Toastmaster of the evening. Well done. In Elite Toastmaster, do wear multiple hats, like me today. I'm a R counter, mini SAA, organizing all the guests, and acting president also to do the closing. So that's the benefit to be a Toastmaster. And as per Chenchu mentioned, we should be always be ready. That's what we learn in a Toastmaster. Because anything is possible. Whether you like it or not, you need to get ready. So now I would like to hear from our guests. I appreciate your input to make our club to be a better place for our member and our guests. Can I hear from Aryo?
Yes. Sorry.
Yep. Can I have your feedback regarding on our meeting?
Okay. Thank you, Hasnul. Sorry, I cannot start 100% joining this meeting because there are lots of things to do. But in general, I do really love the meeting. It is always all arranged because yeah, there's always problems. But in general, Elitos Masters Club meeting is one of the best meeting arrangement, meeting management. That's why I do really love to be here always. And once again, I'd like to thank distinguished Toastmaster Lee Chen Chun for the invitation and for the warm welcome from you all guys. If I may share something, the first one is I think it will be great if this club, what is it called, share a glimpse of what you are doing on social media, because um, because according to my perceptions of this club is very fantastic, yet try to make it quote unquote exclusive, and to maintain the exclusivity, perhaps you can like post some Insta stories about what's happening in the meeting, but mute it. That's the first thing. And the second one is, if I may share my club meetings. So my club meeting will be held on Friday in the evening at 7 p.m. So please yourself registered. I will put down the link, and don't forget to follow our Instagram account at SCBD Toastmasters Club. Once again, thank you so much. Terima kasih banyak. I love you all, guys.
Terima kasih, Aryo. We do have our Facebook and also Instagram. Feel free to like and follow our Instagram. Therefore, you can know whatever our meeting, you are free to join. So can I have Jackie to give any feedback to the meetings?
Hey guys, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I really like the positive perspective provided to each other. That's really cool because from the background that I'm coming from, entrepreneurship, where we are actually very harsh to each other, like what Rachel actually mentioned in the leadership. It's not good enough. You have to get better and all these things. So probably we will not hear that much of praises, and I feel very warm in this new environment. I love to be here again to kind of fix my perspective again to a more warming, to a more encouraging, that kind of perspective. So perhaps if I would like to propose something, I'm not sure is that feasible. Again, it's just comment, right? So if there's some projects that we can do together as Toastmaster, perhaps like maybe what Ariel mentioned a while ago, the social media, but maybe that's not like a serious project, but it's something like a very casual project that we can do together. And then perhaps I like the slide PowerPoint shared by Rachel. That's really great. So I think that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. So appreciate your valuable input. We can work together on the social media. And yes, Toastmaster is a place for us to be a positive attitude. You are free to join on the next meeting. So can I have our next guest, Wan Muhammad Hafiz, to give meeting comment or feedback? One, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, okay. Okay, I hope you can hear my voice. Okay,
Yes.
so thank to Swan for inviting me to join this meeting. So far, I can conclude what I have learned from this session. My personal views. I can summarize into. You can see on meeting chat kesan. Okay, this is personally my point of view. The first K is knowledge. A lot of knowledge I get from information from all of you. Okay, the knowledge. Okay, the second one, experience. This is my first experience to have meeting like you all. Okay, and then as a lot of skills I can see here as skills. Okay, the skill, for example, from set just now, single and disparate, and then stay ready. Don't get ready, but you must stay ready. Always be kind. Okay, so it's the skills that I can see a lot of different skills that you have from this group. And then in terms A stand for attitude. Okay, attitude here, this means everybody will have positive vibe, right? Everything. And then the last one, the important for me is for the N, networking. The way how you all build your own networking, right? All together. And then a lot of I learned from you all. Okay, thank you guys. Well done, marvelous. Excellent. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Wan. Thank you for the positive feedback. So yes, Toastmasters is a place for everybody to learn, and those is part of our Toastmaster journey. If you want to know more details, you are feel free to engage with our washing to know the details. Can I have our next guest, Mr. Zach?
Hello, hi again. I'm
Hello.
just typing my feedbacks on the group chat. As I mentioned, this is definitely one of the most thrilling and exciting meetings I ever have attended, especially during since the outbreak. And we have a meeting on virtual on the Zoom meeting, and this meeting is definitely surpassed my expectations. So everybody has been engaging, and I can see that the members, the elite members, they are using because in Zoom meetings we have limited engagement between the speakers and the audience. So I find it particularly surprised that almost all the speakers, you guys use make engagement with the audience by saying, oh, can you, if you guys can understand me, please raise your hand, something like that. If you enjoy the meeting, please raise your hand. Let's celebrate our accomplishment of CC. So this is a very good show a high level of energy. So once again, I feel impressed, and thank you. I look forward to join you guys again. Thanks for having me here. Get back to Toastmasters. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you for the valuable input. So, Zach, we do have a tagline where our tagline is elite expect more. So that's one of our tagline. So there is a place for us to do engage between members and also the guests also. Okay, can we move to the next guest, Joe?
Hi everyone. Hi. Hello.
Yes, Joe.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Yeah, I can. I have learned a lot of things today. This meeting learned a lot of things today. Feel happy to learn more things here. Like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for the inputs. You are free to join us again in our next meeting. Our
Sure.
meeting is every second and fourth week of the month. Right? Okay, let's move to our next guest is Natalie from Bali.
Hi, everyone. This is my first time coming to Elite Toastmasters meeting, and I totally enjoy it. I can see that you guys work so hard to organize the meeting, and everything, as far as I can see, because I joined late today, it all went smoothly. Good quality of the prepared speeches, and also great general evaluation. If I can offer 2 suggestions, first is related with the social media, because I knew you through Instagram, and when I tried to find a schedule, I couldn't find it anywhere. So I had to ask Aryo, when will they meet and what time? So maybe if you add it in your profile, you know, meet every second and fourth, I think, Thursday, that will immediately help people who wanted to join to clear up their schedule. And the second thing is for the timer. Maybe this is just me personally, but I couldn't really see the timing light going on because it was coming in and coming out so quickly. Maybe keep a background. You don't really have to use the Toastmasters background of red, yellow, or green because sometimes it gets boring. So one of my club member, what she did is to put on a fruit background or a food background with the, you know, the same color. So for example, she will use chili for the red, so you know the whole screen will look like chili, and she will use like lemon for the yellow one. Things like that to spice up your meeting. Cool, thank you. I would love to be back.
Thank you for the valuable input. So I really glad that you give a feedback regarding on our social media. We're going to take note, and our VPPR will update our meeting information in our social media. Therefore, the guests will know when is our meeting. Okay, so is there any guest that have not give any comment? I believe I already invite the guest to provide a valuable input. And to all the guests, thank you for coming and giving a positive and valuable input to us, for us to learn and grow ourselves and also our club to serve more to our members and guests. And I would like to thank you for all the members who are attending to our meetings, mentors, to all the mentors who are guiding and helping members on their role play, and all efforts on making the meeting to be success. And without everybody efforts, we're not able to organize and making our meeting to be success. And I would like to have a special credit to Diane, Chen Chun, and Leonard because of their effort on accepting a challenge to fill in all our DCP goal to be 100%. Thank you for your efforts. Now, that is my end of my president closing. So for our end of our meeting, Joanne, do you want to take a picture?
Yes. Okay, can I have everyone to turn on your video? Okay. Wait a second, since we have more than 25, I have to take 2 times. Hold on. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. And one more. A second. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming and attend the meeting.
Zoom, guys.
To
Thank
all the
you.
guests.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Great
Everyone.
speech. Great
See you.
meeting, everyone.